Howdy. Hi, how you doing? Hope you're having a good Saturday. I know I am. Weather's really nice outside. Get ready for Easter Sunday tomorrow. Having some good food. But anyway, we're gonna just kind of hang out today. Just a weekly stream and just shoot the breeze and talk about music and not really have anything on the itinerary planned today, but we're just gonna, just wing it and go from there. Um, I had a couple things. I know the last video I did was the 20 Flight Rock, which is available on the channel, and then the next one is going to be the Rockabilly Boogie by Johnny Burnett Trio. That's just taking a little bit of time. I got to learn, make sure I get all the solos right and everything else. And not as much information on that stuff as you would think, but yeah, it's fun to do and kind of dive into it, and you learn a bunch of stuff. Let's see what else is going on. I had mentioned last stream about making some backing tracks. So I started doing that, and I put one up on the website. So actually, I'm going to show you here. Let me see if I can pull it up. I should be able to see if this. There we go. Okay, so our website, the band's website, and we have here for all the videos that I've done, for most of them anyway. There are you can download the tablature, the full sheet. So if you take something like whatever Mr. Sandman, it'll pop up like this, and you can just click download if anybody wants it. And oh, dropping some frames here. I don't know. And it's there for all the songs. And I just added this backing track. So I've only got one right now. So it's just a backing track, swing, 165 beats per minute in the key of B flat, 14 megabytes. So some people had mentioned that they thought that might be useful, and it's just, let's see if I can play it here. It's just a bass and drums basically. So, and it's just a 1-4-5 chord progression. Change that, make sure that you know that. But anyway, that is just gives people a way to kind of practice different things, and I'll have a bunch of them as I go. I'll try to get at least like one or so every week up there, so you can just kind of practice soloing and practice different ideas. It's always been useful for me to sit and just noodle around, and I think this is 10 minutes long, so it just goes round and round and round, and you can just plug your guitar in or play through an amplifier or whatever, and just play through it. So let me see if I can. Will it play? If I just do this. Oh, it downloads. Okay, so it downloads as an MP3, so that's what will happen if you want to grab that, or anybody has any interest in that. And let's see if I can grab it here. I can play it. Hopefully it's not too loud. Down here. So that's it. So I'll start adding some other feels to it. Different tracks that'll be try to get a two beat in there, get a some rockabilly, faster swing stuff, some rumbas and things like that. And I'll just stick with 1 4 5s for the most part because that's a good easy just to get used to help with phrasing and help with you know chord substitutions and all that stuff. Hi, how you doing? Good afternoon. Yeah, so that's gonna be fun. They're uh pretty easy to make. Technical difficulties? How you doing today? Glad to see you back. I was just saying, I don't know if you saw about the backing tracks that we talked about last. I got one of them done here. Let's see on the website. You can just download it as an MP3. I think I don't know if you heard it, but yeah, it's you know there's no charge for any of this stuff. I'm just putting it up there for people to spread the as much as I can help people out knowledge and spread the knowledge out for everyone and keep the music going, keep the music alive. That's kind of um my thing. It's just there's so much great music out there, and I just feel it's not getting as represented as it used to be. Um, it's maybe it's coming back around. I always see back and forth. It's in the key of B flat. Um, so I can eventually, as I get them done, I'll just start making different keys. At least do um, the the main keys, right? E, A, D, um, C, G. um, B flat's a pretty common blues key. And of course, if anybody has a request, I can always make it as a different key for that. But I'll probably won't bother with something unless you really wanted something like D flat or A flat or something like that. That's or F G flat, F sharp. Although there are occasionally, if you want to, there are songs that do fall into that. A lot of the older jump blues stuff is in A flat. Um, and the main reason for that, of course, is and the reason why things are either in C, B flat, E flat, A flat back then, as opposed to when rock and roll started becoming popular, things changed and started. It was more E, A, G, D, and stuff like that, because the music was based around guitar, and where back then it was based around horns, trumpets, saxes, and altos, tenors, and trumpets. And trumpets are in the key of B flat naturally. So if I play a B flat concert instrument, C concert, which is a guitar or a piano or whatever, I play a B flat, they actually play a C. So they're reading in the key of C, and I'm playing in the key of B flat. So they're up a whole step, a second interval up. And um, the same with a tenor. Tenor is technically a second and an octave, so a ninth up from the from a concert instrument as far as the sound of it goes, the pitch and E flat, baritone, and altos are going to be in the key of they're a sixth, so they're going to be in the key. If I'm in B flat, they're in G. Um, and so because of that, that's the reason why a lot of if you're playing an A flat, their trumpets are only you know they're playing in B flat. Nice for them, but not great if you're an upright player. There's no playing electric bass. It doesn't really matter. You can move it around on guitar. either. But upright, there's no open string or anything. You have to play it. It's not probably one of the harder keys to play in on an upright. And yeah, that would be. And if they're, of course, they're at B flat, they're at A flat. That's going to put the horns in F. Yeah, like and why B flat and not A sharp? Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Um, because the way the major scale works, if you were to write out A sharp in a major scale, you would get double sharps. And so you would, in the way you would have to write it is that you would end up with A sharp, and then the next note up would be C, and you would have to skip the note. So every note in a major scale is written from one line to the next. So what you would end up with is a B sharp. You would go A sharp, and then it would be B sharp, which is C. And then when you hit C, C sharp would be a D, but you can't just write a D. You would have to write C double sharp. So it becomes very confusing um, for that reason. So B flat, it's just easier. There's just two accidentals when you write it in B flat. You only have to worry about the E and the E and the B, right? So you just have to. It's just the one and the four are are the accidentals. So it's just easier to write it in B flat. That's why. Um, and it's enharmonic. So I mean, technically, it works. It doesn't really matter when you're writing for string sections. It's just an off topic, but if you're writing for a string section, you don't want to write one section of strings in a sharp key and then the other section uh, in a flat key. So there are some keys where you can write it either way. Like you can write it G flat or you can write it F sharp, but you still can get some double sharps, or D flat or C sharp. There's a couple of keys like that. You have to be somewhat careful. You have to make sure that it's all sharps or all flats because there's such a tiny bit there without frets. Typically, when violin players play up, play sharps, they play just a little bit on top of the note, just slightly. And when they're playing in flats, they play just a little bit behind the note or right on it. It's just a eighth of a quarter tone, not even a quarter tone off. When playing together, it's a horrible sound. So there's a joke. The one of the a music joke is what's the definition of a minor second? With a minor second is two, and it's the definition of a minor second is two violins playing in unison. So kind of a nerdy joke, but I like it. It's funny. Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I'll probably do another. Let's see. The next, like I've said, the next video is going to be the Rockabilly Boogie. I just got to get the tablature done. There's three solos in that song. Um, yeah, it's in the G. It's great. It has that. And that's where Dorsey Burnett, he was playing all that. You know, those double octaves. um, then what is that? Something like it's fairly simple. I just want to get the notes down and got to write the notes out and get the tablature. You know, all that tablature is fairly easy to do. It's just once I get the notes down, then I can just copy and paste it in Finale, and that'll just make the tablature. I just got to make sure that the fret numbers are correct because it likes to put everything in the open first position, and it doesn't always work. So you have to adjust the 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 notes and everything, or the numbers, the fret numbers. But what after that? Trying to think if there's any other. Oh, somebody had asked for. Um, there was two songs. I can't remember one of them. One was "Too Hip Gotta Go," the Stray Cats, and I'm happy to do it. But just in case, and I'll if they don't know, if they happen to watch the stream, um, the original that you can get the Hot Licks video from Setzer, and he explains the bulk of the tune in the very beginning of that video, and so you can kind of get it from the horse's mouth if you if you want. But I'm happy to do it and break it down and provide the tablature and stuff like that. If you buy the disc, the DVD now, you can it comes with a tablature book. It's broken up, so it's not the whole song from start to finish. It's like this is this lick, and then it's this riff, and it's all kind of in pieces, similar to the way I do the video. But like I can provide the guitar tabs. So I'll show you here again, backing tracks, and then I have the guitar tabs here, so you can get in whatever I don't know whatever you want to grab. With Mystery Train, I put a Scotty Moore version there, and then the sets a riff, and you can just it's just the riff that you can download because that's all I did for that video. I just went over the riff, and then there, whatever, Choo 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 Boogie, Go for Speed, Mr. Sandman. That one's a little long. That one's eight pages long because it changes keys 3 times. But yeah, and then we've got. Um, I'm also busy. We're working as the band. We're doing a new finally getting around to getting our album, a new album finished. We had an album came out. We did it. Oh God, probably it was 2018 now. So that when that finally, and that took a while to get done. That one we started that recording that in 2016, I think, or 20 yeah 2015, I think. I might have somewhere around there, and I didn't get it fully done. We had personnel bass player replacements, and we re-recorded stuff, and then had to add some tunes and writing and logistics, and finally got it all done. And then it was, it was fairly good. It was the first one, and it's okay. I think it's pretty good. Um, the and now the next one I hope is going to be a little bit different. We're going to have some different. There's going to be a little less of the horn stuff and a little more some '60s influence and some more surf and freaking out on me. And of course some there's going to be some swing stuff and some rockabilly stuff and everything. Just kind of mix it up and run the gambit of roots roots rock and just try to keep writing songs and produce more music and get it out there and you know hopefully people enjoy it and it'll of course be on. I think we're going to release it on YouTube first since the channel is around now and there's actually content. Um, we'll put the album on there, and then people can listen to it there. And then if they want a physical copy, last time I did physical copies, and if anybody's in a band that is thinking about doing physical CDs, don't. Unless you know you're going to sell a lot of them. Nobody really buys CDs anymore. Uh, they just you can't. I'd rather get either USB sticks. That's kind of really kind of almost SA now, or download cards like QR codes and things like that. That would be better, which is what a lot of people are doing. They're just doing it in the shape of a CD, so you still get the artwork, but just one photo, and then you have a click or type the code in or whatever, and unlock and download the album that way. Um, and eventually it'll go on Spotify and everything else. But for now, right now, we just still have to get back. We have to get back in the studio because we have about, I want to say four, no, seven more songs we have to uh, record, and then do any overdubs, mix it, master it, all that stuff. So it's going to be a little bit, but round in the bend. And but we knock them all out. We learn them, rehearse them, knock them all out in a day, and then we have the tracks. So then we can just start adding whatever we're going to add to it, mix it, master it. Yeah, I know. I miss the physical medium. It's it's a shame, really. I mean, vinyl's kind of sort of coming back. I mean, I wouldn't say it's gonna obviously not gonna dominate the music industry or anything, but it's going to, but you can buy them in the stores. Like Target is selling vinyl records, um, and you can get them done. It's rates are coming down. There are for a while there was only two um, factories or whatever that made the vinyl records, and everything was going through them. These two places, and one of them, I want to say there was a. Don't quote me on this. I'm not sure if this happened. One of them, an accident or a fire or something like that, and one of the factories kind of went under for a little while. I don't know if they ever came back up, but I think other people are starting to do it again, and they're getting the vinyl presses back up and getting new ones made, making new records again, and that's that's cool. I mean, to have that, and so I would recommend if you're going to do a physical medium as a band, do a vinyl record. Last time I checked, I want to say though for 500, 250. I think you could get 250 records. I want to say it was like 2 grand or $2,500 for 250 records is quite a bit. CDs are considerably cheaper, but nobody buys them. So I've done it. I did it the last time. And I have boxes of CDs just sitting. Um, and if people want to buy them, and a few people there have been a couple of people recently has purchased the album digitally, have downloaded it. I've noticed since started doing the channel a little more, which thank you, I thank them, but no one's buying the physical copy, which I don't blame you. I mean, it's just another thing, and then it's like, okay, now what do I do with this? Like, I don't have a CD player in my car. I don't have one at home. I have to make it and make it digital anyway. So, um, 99 cent cutout bin, yeah. Oh, center cutout. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I've got these few vinyl records down here. These, you can see them in the videos. These little cases, they are full of records. Yes. Um, oh, and I missed your question. Sorry. Do you ever tour outside of New England? Yeah, sometimes. I mean, the furthest we've gone is um, Pennsylvania, right? Yes, Pennsylvania. So I'm more than open to touring and doing going on the road if we could get on a label or get some promoter interest and it's financially feasible to do it, then and it makes sense and you can actually make come back. You want to come back with a little bit of money, right? You don't want to lose your shirt, but I think that a lot of the time, at least from what I understand, a lot of bands, at least at our level and a little bit above our level, what they're doing is just they're going out for 2 weeks and then they're coming back, and then they're home for 2 weeks and then they go out for another 2 weeks and then they come back. Some people will go to Europe. I know some local bands in Rhode Island, other local bands in Rhode Island, great ones are doing that and they're touring um, Europe and all over the country. Yeah, I'd do it. I'd do it if it made sense financially. But otherwise, that's it. Like some questions here. Yeah, vinyl does get heavy lugging around. Uh, yeah, that's for sure. and the 78s were worse. What are your preferred strings for the Gretsch? Diodario 10s. Some other brand. Somebody asked last time that the people were using now. I haven't really tried anything. What I really like are the New York steel Diodario strings. They're really nice. They last longer. They sound great. They're they're they got a great tone to them, and like the Elixir strings, they last quite a bit, but they're quite expensive. They're about they're about I think it's like $10 a pack. So well, I can get 10 strings for 10 sets of strings for about whatever what is $35 on Amazon or something, and that lasts for a while. So yeah, just the standard tens. Some people use 11s. I used to, and then I just got used to. The thing with the Gretsch is the with the Bigsby, it adds quite a bit of tension with the string. So when you bend it, it's not like when you play a Gibson. If you go ever in a music store and you have the opportunity to just pick up a Gibson, pick up a Les Paul or whatever, and pick up a Gretsch, like a real one, not one of the Electromatic. But even then, those are fine, and you can just feel the tension difference. And I think they put tens on pretty much everything in the store, so you can feel the difference between bending a string on a Gretsch versus a Gibson. And a Gibson feels like whoa, you overbend. And the so when you put 11s on there, you kind of have to be aware of like, oh, this is gonna get quite a bit more tension. And they're set up on at the factory for tens, so they you might have to open the nut slots a bit. You're gonna have to adjust the neck because it's gonna pull more tension, so you're not gonna be able to. Um, of course, the neck's gonna bend and warp over time anyway. But yeah, whatever you prefer. Um, I've tried all different types of things. I've tried 12s. I've tried 13s. Somebody said, "Well, you got piano wire on this thing," uh, and yeah. So I just tried all different types. I do remember I had a Tennessean, a vintage one, like 74, and the frets were so low, they were so worn that I that when the frets are really low, sometimes it's weird. It's almost like they're barely even there, and you can't really feel the strings that much. So what can help with that is going to a higher gauge, go to 11 or something, and that seemed to work until I got it. I never did get that refretted because I didn't want to bother. I ended up selling it and getting the Phoenix. So because it was a mess. It was those old Gretches are not really worth the money. I don't think. There's so much work that has to go into them that by the time you're done, um, you're almost paying at least a third more than what you paid just to get it playable. Yeah, yeah. So much for jumping in the van and taking off. Yeah, not exactly. Yeah, because you have to rent. You really have to rent a van and all of that. There's a lot of expense going into touring. But if somebody's willing to eventually put up, even if you make money on the show and it's worth it, you can plan it out, or a manager does that, or a label, or whatever. Then you can try to do that. The Gretchen Les Paul and some 11 flat wounds on the Gretchen almost couldn't bend at all. Yeah, and almost bent the string off the neck of the Les Paul. Yeah, yeah. Those exactly. Yeah, the 11 the flat wounds. I have them on the Jazz box back there. The Gretsch, I forget the model number, but it's great for that. But you're not bending them. I mean, not really. You can bend it's like an acoustic. It's more like that. You can bend like the top two strings, but you're not really bending the G, D, or anything like that. Um, but they sound cool. You can get that. You're doing more Chet Atkins stuff or jazz stuff. That's great for that. But if you want to play rockabilly or rocker, it's probably not the best idea. Um, but I do like the sound of flat wounds, especially on a jazz box or something like that. If I had an extra Gretsch laying around that I don't use live, I probably would put one of flat wounds on one because I want to say Chet Atkins used flat wounds, and they sound great, perfect for that because they don't ring out quite as much, so they're nice to deaden them, so you get that, you know, whatever. You know, and it's just easier to deal with. See, the Falcon 140th anniversary, same colors as your Gretsch, new and set up with. Oh, it was set up with 11s. Okay, I'm interesting. Every time I've ever gotten a Gretsch, when I ordered it from the factory, it's always come with tens on it. The one I got, the Phoenix, um, it came with tens. This one came with tens. That one, I think it came with the orange one came with tens. Um, but maybe they've changed it. And the Falcons are a little long. The neck, the the length is longer. I forget what is it, 25 and a half or something. Um, so it's got a little bit more reach. Not that much of a difference, but yeah, Falcons are great. I love them. Um, yeah, they do sound great. Everyone said the comparison video that I did. Everyone I've talked to, at least in person, has said, yeah, the Falcon's my favorite. Like, okay, great. You know, so I've started to use it a little bit more live, and yeah, it does sound good. All right. Yeah, I think maybe a duo jet next. Maybe. Cheers. Cheers from. How you doing? Glad you could join us. Just kind of chatting, shooting the breeze on this wonderful Saturday afternoon. Oh, you're welcome. Yep, that's the goal, keeping it alive. Like to play around a little bit. um, what else was I going to talk about here today? I didn't really have anything crazy planned today. Just kind of rocking around. I did watch the Danny Gatton with the towel. So Easter Sunday. Oh, it's Easter Sunday already. Okay, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Hey, you're ahead. Yep. Well, happy Easter. I'm looking forward to it tomorrow. I got a nice spread with the family, so that'll be fun. But I did watch the Danny Gatton video with the towel, and I watched a docu. Was it the video you sent? Yeah, it was the. I think I did watch that video, and then the documentary um, about him, a short one, and it was I just watched it last night, and they showed like told like why. Oh, he was wiping off the beer. I think from he would use the beer and it would slosh all around, and so he'd wipe it up with a towel, but we would keep playing. It was crazy. Yeah, what a guitar player, man. I mean, just insane, absolutely insane. It was interesting to hear about before he went to the Telecaster and he was playing the Les Paul, the box that he had on the end that, and what's it? It was a Leslie. That's what it was. He would hook it up to a Leslie speaker, and he would be able to control the Leslie speaker with the switch. The 6120 player series is incredible. Oh, okay. I'll have to look. I'll take a look at that. I already have, the this and that one, kind of all that, and so I was maybe do something different. I'm not sure. I'm not sure yet. But this one's getting old. This this one's, well, it was, believe it or not, it's over 20 years old now, and I've been playing it since the Dingus box. That's what it was called. Yes. Yeah. So that I've had it refretted at once, I think, and it needs another one. It needs another refret. But oof, sucked into rockabilly when I first heard the Reverend Horton Heat. What are some current bands you are digging at the moment? Let's see, current bands. That hmm, you know, it's probably more local bands for me, I guess, than mainstream bands. I'm not as familiar with what's going on in the rockabilly scene as much as I should be. Um, just busy. Don't really have a chance to, and I don't really, and I should listen to more. I listen to music when I'm, transcribing it and working on it and everything else, or writing it and playing it and all of that stuff. So I don't, I have usually things like Spotify or Pandora or whatever just on shuffle, and I whatever comes up, you know, and that and I hear something and I'll write it down and I'll go back to it a little bit later. There was a band. There's a band that I saw, and I'm really terrible with names. And I could name. There's a great rockabilly band from Italy. I can't remember the name of it. Chris Spedding with Chris Spedding. He was with just seeing the with Adventures, right? He played with Adventures, and then Robert Gordon for a little bit. So did Danny Gatton. Um, Actually, we were supposed to open for Robert Gordon um, last year in May, and they then he passed away, and I was really saddened to hear that news. But yes, and Chris Spedding was on the bill. That's what made me think of that. Yeah, I like the Reverend too. I like the Reverend Stray Cats, of course. There's Polecats. That's going back to that era. The Rockettes. Um, yeah, what got me into it was really probably looking started playing guitar. Everybody kind of starts in the same way. Uh, and like that, like you got hooked on Eric Clapton and Keith Richards, and then went back to the legacy. That's what I did with the Beatles and Led Zeppelin, and went back and listened to where they get their influences from. And then somebody introduced me to the Stray Cats, and then said, "Oh, there's this whole rockabilly scene and the Teddy Boy scene and all that stuff." The Cramps, yeah, the Cramps were great. I opened for the Cramps years ago. Was it 2005? I think maybe something like that. There's a movie. There's an Eddie Cochran movie. Oh wow. Yeah, it was a fun show. Um, they were great, nice guys, and gals. That's cool, man. I'll have to keep that up. Do you know who's playing Eddie Cochran? Is it like a biopic thing, like like the ones that have been coming out, like the Queen and Eric Elton John and all that, or is it a documentary? I wonder who's. I hope so. I hope it will be popular again. It's a documentary. Okay, that's cool. That's awesome. Yes, he kept his pants on. Not a biopic. Okay, that's probably good because I mean they'd have to get somebody unknown to play him. Well, that's cool. So is it? Hopefully I'll keep that in mind. Do you know if there's a name for it or it's just Eddie Cochran? I can look it up. Yeah, Cramps. So we've covered a couple of there. What was it? We covered What's Inside a Girl. It was a fun one to play. Fun little riff on there. I can't remember how to play it now, but I remember learning it and having a lot of fun with it. Yeah, that's probably one of the bigger bands that I've opened for, other than the Blasters. Um, they're another one of my favorites. Yep, he did play. Yep, that's true. He was playing him in La Bamba. I remember when I got into the Stray Cats and he found out he did that. I watched the movie just to get to that part and see that. But yeah, pretty good movie. Blue Diamond Phillips, right? Um, Thank you for introducing the world to the Rev. Nice, cool. Yeah, it is the best part of the film. Yeah, we get copyrighted. um, yeah, yeah, that's a good one. Of course, 20 Flight. I mean, hit the whole all of that stuff is great. Maybe Marshall Crenshaw is Buddy Holly. Maybe it's been a while since I've seen it. I can't remember. And shooting. I don't remember. It's like it's been oh man, probably 20 years since I've seen it. So yep, you're right. Marshall Crenshaw, Buddy Holly. Oh, you're welcome. Thank you guys for hanging out. Thank you guys for joining the stream. This is great. Oh, cheers. Thank you. Hope you're having a happy Easter. And the weather here in New England is beautiful. So I hope it is down there too. And I'll catch you next time. Appreciate it. Yeah, it's been great. We're so close to, you know, bringing the channel up. It's getting, past that 2,000 subscriber limit, all of that stuff, get the next level to maybe one day I'll get the silver plaque. Doesn't matter. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Yeah, if you know, share, like, comment, all that. It really helps. It definitely does, and I thank you so much. What was that other tune that somebody recommended to go over? I want to say it was another Stray Cats tune, but I can't remember which one. I'm gonna look it up. I don't have that in front of me. What could I don't remember. I don't remember. I'm trying to think of one that somebody might want to, you know, learn. But yeah, two hip. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. It's just a 1 5 and a 4, and then quick, you know, 1 to 5 and back again. So it's just oh, looks like my oh, I turned it down. I can't hear it from the coming out of the speakers. All I just hear is the acoustic, and I can see the levels, but I can't really hear the guitar. You don't need more than three chords. Three chords is all you need. Three chords, pentatonic, major, minor scales. You can make a lot of music with that. A lot of music has been made with that. Um, yeah. Speaking of the opposite of that, the other thing on that was always interesting besides was that drink that bottle down where he plays all these jazz chords. And that's crazy, but pretty. And the way he doesn't really go into how he comes up with that. He just really kind of thinks, plays it and then shows it, and there's that you can learn it. But you're he's really just following the bass line and voicing up within the chords that are going to work within that key. So not and adding in and then they become substitutions, but they're harmonized within the framework of the key of E, which is what the song is in. And that's one way to do substitutions. The other way is, of course, scale degrees and um, uh, you knowing certain patterns of what you can substitute. Like you can substitute the three for the one for the three, and then you can add in a tritone substitution, and usually that stuff works well as a passing chord to go from one to the other in between. If you want to add in a little motion, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It just depends. If it's overdone, if it's overused, then it becomes dissonant too much, and it loses the, what you're trying to say musically. I think, but so find a happy medium there. There drive me nuts. What is that? What that song was? I wonder if I can pull up my stuff and see it, but hopefully not. See if I can. yeah, so I hope everybody's having a good time. Again, thank everybody for showing up, and thank you guys for watching you know, liking the videos. Um, any any of that, sharing it around and commenting and all that stuff really, really helps. It drives it up and goes around, and we're so close to um, the next tier. I'd love to be able to do this more often, not just the streaming, but also making more videos and having the time to be able to do that would be fantastic. But you know, got to get the channel really going quite a bit before that becomes a viable thing. But it's it's slowly going, and it's going better than I thought it was going to go. I had no idea because you do a video and you post it and it doesn't really at first. And I remember when I just started this, not even it hasn't even been a year yet, and not really posting. I started just doing playing songs, and then I started adding the gear review stuff, and then the lessons and that sort of thing. Still waiting for a part for that Space Echo so I can do a comparison between the Mystery Brain and the actual Space Echo. They're they're pretty close. I mean, when I played with that, when I just even at home just playing around with it, of course that thing sounds amazing. But the Mystery Brain sounds really, really close, and it's very, very good. And for the convenience factor alone, it's just I've only played with that thing live once, and it was kind of a hassle. That's partially because I need that part. It's a little felt pad that goes right against the tape where it comes around, and right before it hits the head, the play head, one of the first play head. If it's too tight, it goes it starts to sound like a I don't know how to describe it. It's like everything's being slowed down and stretched, and everything's out of tune, and like almost like a tape dragging. That's what it's because that's what's going on. And if it's too loose, it will the tape will have a can create a bump in it, so it looks like that, and then it misses the playhead, and then as you're playing, boom, the the delay just drops out. You're still got sound, but you don't have the delay. All of a sudden, you play in a chord, like doing that, and then boom, it's gone. You know, that was the song, "Double Talkin' Baby." Um, so I don't know whether I'm assuming they probably were thinking of the Stray Cats version. I don't know if they were thinking of the original Gene Vincent, but that got me thinking too. It's like, well, there's some other Gene Vincent tunes that would be great. Do one, "Cruisin'" or even just I mean, there's not much to talk about Bebop Alula structure wise, but the solos are great. I need to learn a note. I need to learn them note for note, but I haven't heard his music, but I will check it out. Mm. Oh man, yeah, from North Carolina, huh? Oh wow. No, I'm not familiar, but I will I will definitely check it out. I'm sure I'll like it. Me, I'm gonna any recommendations I get, I'm always looking for new stuff and everything to listen to, especially if it's rockabilly. And so I will definitely check that out. Thank you, appreciate that. Bringing that up and the shame. Yeah, I'll just save the link here. Uh, cool. Yeah, I don't really. Funny enough, I don't actually have a proper modern stereo system. All I have are these. Can't see them here, but there's these little mixing monitors that I have for mixing the videos and albums and stuff like that. But I do have a vinyl player, an older one. It was give it it's but they're those are the best, right? And it's got an old. It's a is it Technics? Technique? I can't remember the. No, it's not. It's not that brand. But anyway, it's a really nice vinyl. Got got the whole the amplifier, hi-fi, old hi-fi stereo system, JBL speakers, um, and that thing sounds great. But I can plug RCA into it and play other things through it, so I could plug my phone in or whatever. But I don't have like a. A lot of people have these the Bluetooth Bose little thing or JBL speakers that you carry around, or maybe the Apple Pod things or whatever that is. And those things can sound great. Those things are great, but I just don't have anything like that, and so I don't really listen to as much music as I would like, except either when I'm in the car or whatever. So maybe get or occasionally like headphones or something like that. But yeah, I need to get something because last night I was doing it. It's like, oh, man, I really wish I had something to listen to music that wasn't just coming from my phone or coming from the earbuds or whatever. So yeah, so yeah, I wanted to have it was actually given to me. The record player was given to me by my father-in-law. So he wasn't going to use it anymore and wanted to go to a good home. So I thank him for that. But and that's been great because I had a just one of those Victrola, suitcase ones that you can get at Target or whatever for $100, and it died on me. It just stopped working. I know there really isn't a lot of new interesting stuff out there, and it's tough. I mean, I love rockabilly and I love hearing new bands and stuff like that, and I want to try to get more into listening to other bands because there's a lot of good bands out there playing it. But yeah, it's just getting to it and getting into it and actually just doing it. And once you do it, it's like, oh, this is actually pretty good. Some of it. As far as like mainstream music, no, not none, no way. um, there's nothing there for me. Oh yeah, nice. Okay, Death Ray Cat. Okay. Oh cool. Just looking it up a little bit. Cool, nice. It's good to see other people doing it. The Street Guns. Hmm. Oh yeah. Yeah, that would be fun to tour, play in Japan or Korea or you said Korea. Oh, excuse me. Hopefully this doesn't play on me. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I've street guns. Yeah, I've seen this guy's videos. Great. Um, I'm terrible with names, but yeah, yeah. This stuff pops up on my feed all the time. I watch this stuff. It's great. Mm, excuse me. Yeah, yeah. I've seen the. I don't know if they see my stuff over there, but I see their stuff coming over here. It's pretty much like exclusive from what I've seen in my feed. I've seen just mostly from Japan and North Korea, North Korea, South Korea, um, and what else? There's a couple other guys playing it too. At least what's popped up on my feed anyway. There's um guy. I think his name is Adrian White. I want to say. I think he's from Australia. Australia, I think, and he's got some good stuff. There's Damien Bocci is another. He's got some good lessons. I actually know him. He's from originally from Florida, and we played with the same groups and same bands back in like the '90s, 2000s. So, um, fix that. Figure out why it's doing that. Yeah, you're saying everything's on loops, like modern stuff. Yeah, I assume that's what you mean. Yeah, Damien's great. Yeah, he used to play with a band called Rocket 88 back in the '90s. Um, and it was a more of a swing band. Jim Heath. Yeah, I've never met him. But yeah, he's starting to YouTube stuff too, which is cool. Um, I don't know if you've heard of the Hillbilly Hellcats too. They're funny. They're great. I love them. They're out of Colorado, I believe. I can't remember the guy's. I remember his last name, but his first name. I don't know if he said that. This, I don't remember. But yeah, that's a great band. Hey, they have a great song called "I Hate Music." It's funny. Um, More psychobilly type stuff, but a lot of fun. Had some, as in past tense, um, or has. If he does, I mean, I've seen him play like a lot of different things on the channel. It's yeah, great. Jealous. What you see here in the background of my videos, that's it. Well, I take that back. I have two other guitars I don't show in the video because they're in front of the camera, but that's just a telly. Oh, I'll go grab it real quick and I'll show you. Probably out of tune, so I don't think it would plug it in, but this is close enough for rock and roll, right? I haven't played this in a while. Of course, it's got a Bixby on it, right? Gotta have that. Really? Oh, interesting. I have to check that out. Everything's still working? Yeah. Been sitting for months. Yeah. The only thing about tellies for me, I mean, this is nice because it's got the Bixby and everything, but they do feel tiny to me, and compared to a Gretsch. But the other thing is that I don't know if anybody else has this problem. Everyone I talk to seems to have it. Is the pickup selector, the 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 cover, the tip head that just always flies off when I go to switch pickups, and I end up hitting for some reason. I don't know what I'm doing. Just maybe not used to it, but the volume knob ends up getting hit or something like that. I'm not used to having that pickup selector down there because even on I've always pretty much always played. Started with a Strat and then had a Gibson for a while. I had a Lucille, the BB King Lucille. Sold it, which I didn't, but um, and I've tried. I had a Les Paul Studio for a little bit. Yeah, true. Compared to a Gretsch, anything is tiny. Even the Duo Jets are of a decent size, but yeah, and I never really had a telly, but I love the sound of tellies, so I wanted, I kind of have them. But this was a wedding gift from my drummer. Very nice gift. I was incredibly shocked to see that, and yeah, I played it a couple times live. Every time we do, not every time, but if I have the room on this stage, I'll bring the I have one of those suitcase racks where you can lay out a couple guitars, or at least have two or three. I have at least try to have two Gretches on stage, and then usually this one. So I got one of those three rack stands. What's the brand? Hercules, the Hercules stuff. And I try to have two Gretches just in case I break a string, and then have this guy up do the. We split the set. Actually, it's on the channel, the one live show. It's not the greatest video in the world, but it's because it was live and I just left it up there. It where we start off with the upright Gretsch guitars, and then we do another set, and then we flip and we go. The bass player plays electric, and he's got one of the short scale, just like that bass back there, the Gretsch short scale bass, and we do more of the surf stuff and the um, things like that, and then we do even some funky things once in a while. We even play like Sissy Strut, um, and then go into a lot of instrumentals, um, usually in that section of the set, and then we'll go back to the upright and Gretsch guitars. That's a lot. Yeah, it's fun to try to mix it up and do that, and gives you an excuse to play the Telecaster on some of this stuff, especially the surf stuff, right? Yeah. Um, the meters. Yep, the meters. Yeah. Um, yeah, it usually gets people dancing, so that's always and it's a fun tune to play and solo over. So whoa, what was yeah, the any monkeys? Not really. Not opposed to it. We just haven't for whatever reason. I wouldn't know which one to really do. Maybe I have to think about that. Um, yeah, I'm not sure. I think it's Stepping Stone or something. Or I have other bands. I play the monkeys. I play bass in a couple other bands, and they do. I'm a believer in the other one, the other popular one, Daydream Believer. Yeah, still got my coffee, iced coffee. It is New England. They did Tennessean, I think, right? Or probably Country Gentlemen, because the Beatles did too. You know, um, I mean, they had the Gretsch and the Fender Bassman. There's the photos of the of which I'm going to talk about a little bit in the upcoming history of Fender Bassman. That's probably not going to be that as long of a video as I would like, but just history of it a little bit and go into like the early Princeton amplifiers before the Bassman came out and where that all came from. Uh, so that's going to be something down the road, trying to figure that out as far as the script goes and how that's going to get formed. But oh, they were the monkeys. Oh, interesting. Yeah, Gretsch was popular in in the 50s and 60s, and then I read up a little bit about the history of that and where they just got sold, bought by someone else, and eventually it got back into the hands of the family again, and then they it wasn't until the late 80s, 90s when they started doing all the manufacturing in Japan, and then eventually I've gone in. Now, of course, Fender's taken over distribution and quality control and all that. I believe so. They're everywhere now. I could not find one when I first got into rockabilly. No uh, music store had them. Baldwin, that's what it was. They were bought by Baldwin. That's right. Yeah, they had. There was a music store. I don't know if they were nationwide or if it was just a local thing in Florida. There was a it was called Thoroughbred Music. I don't know if anybody has ever heard of that, but they they had Gretches, and they had a Gretsch dealership in the 90s, and I was just getting started into guitar, and I didn't know anything. So I didn't know what I was looking at when I saw a 6120 sitting there, and I thought, oh, it's the Country Gentleman because I was into the Beatles and I wanted to get the that look of the the double cutaway. And they didn't have a Country Gentleman, but they did have a 6120. But I didn't know what I was doing, and so I ended up with the Lucille. Still a really nice guitar, and fine. I could play, I was playing, but I wasn't, didn't know gear very well. Yeah, and they they got bought out by Sam Ash, I believe, or they just went out of business and Sam Ash took over the spot. I'm not sure. And then they Sam Ash didn't have a Gretsch dealership, so you just didn't see him. And that's of course when I wanted one. And Guitar Center at the time was new, and they didn't have Gretsch dealerships either. They do now. I don't know if Sam Ash ever did, but I think the Sam Ash is going out of business. I think they're closing all the locations. At least that's what I thought. I read that. Um, I know a lot of Music Row my down in New York. In No, nothing wrong with Lucille at all. It was a great guitar. I love the six-way switch on it that changed it, and stereo jack too. That was cool. And the fine tuners on it, like a violin. Yeah, very unique uh, guitar. Just needs a Bixby. um, yeah, that thing played great. Um, but yeah, eventually I just went to I found a the Tennessean at a vintage guitar store. The only Gretsch I'd seen all around the whole greater Orlando area. Nobody had them. I looked up and looked online, and I found one 6120 down in this orange one in Fort Lauderdale, which if you know from Orlando to Fort Lauderdale is about 3 or 4 hour drive. Not incredibly long time, but I tied it into a family vacation. We were all going down to the Keys and stopped over, made a quick pit stop, grabbed the guitar on the way there, and then I got there and I played it a little bit, and then I broke a string, and I couldn't even touch it for the rest of the which was fine because I should. You're in the Keys, you need to relax. Um, yeah, I ended up after that. That's how I kind of learned how to work on guitars too, was owning Gretches. Because if you've ever owned a Gretsch, at least back then, you're tinkering. You're working on stuff a lot. So, all right, thank you, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, we're going a little bit longer than normal, but I'm just kind of hanging out, having fun chatting. Hope you guys are too. And thank you for hanging out. And hopefully we'll see you next time, or at least another stream. And definitely keep it alive for sure. Thanks again, man. Yeah. So yeah, you learn real quick with those Gretches how to maintain a guitar. At least back then, they're really good now. They've come a long way since since even the '90s. So anyway, I think yeah. So I gotta fix that. I think what it is Pro Tools. In order for me to play the guitar to come through stream, I have to have Pro Tools on in the background, run the guitar into it so you guys can hear it. And Mac is weird. I it will not let me record desktop audio from my computer to OBS to the for streaming purposes. So you have to do this special like um, multi-output thing that you have to set so it runs Pro Tools and everything through two separate output chains or whatever. And it's like the sample rate kind of like starts falling behind, I think, and then it's when as it starts to catch up and it resets, it does that little pop. But anyway, get an electromatic. The electromatics are nice. They're really nice. Um, yeah, I thought about doing that myself. They have a lot of great colors. I always thought, man, that's really cool. And um, you can always down the road if you wanted to, you could always put TV Jones in it if you want, and pretty much pretty much there at that point. What you're paying for a little bit, the craftsmanship a little bit, and the wood, of course, especially the ebony fingerboards that aren't in the electromatics, but they're nice. They're great. Sound like Gretches. I don't know if they've changed them. I haven't looked at one in a while. I haven't been to a music store in, oh my god, a lot. I think the last time I was probably in a Guitar Center maybe a year ago, just because I was there. I was in around the area, and I didn't even pick anything up. I usually at least pick something up and play it, but I didn't, and haven't been back since. But a buddy of mine has um, an Electromatic, a 6120, and the thing was, it's great. I mean, this is only, 800 bucks, or 600 or whatever it was at the time, and like this Falcon acoustic is only 649. These ranchers, but they have the orange one, the black one, or whatever. It used to be 2 grand when they had the original Rancher acoustics. Granted, they had the ebony fingerboard, but I mean, they Gretsch does really good about sourcing the wood and getting the dark rosewood, so it's not like the bright, brown. I like that um, darker look to it. 800, 800. Yeah, that's still. I mean, that's great. And I don't know if the bridges um, are floating. That's something. The new Gretches, all of the new Fender ones, at least the higher end models, they're all pinned. They have the rods inside under the body, keep the bridge from moving around. I mean, it clicks a little bit, but not like the old ones where the bridge is just floating. So it stays pretty good. But if you get up here and you bend a string like this, it'll it'll slide. It does slide a bit, and then the intonation gets thrown off if it's not angled properly and things like that. Of course, you can lock it down with two-sided tape or something, like, good enough. Or the bridges are pinned now. Okay, because yeah, yeah, because his was not pinned, and he got it right when they started coming out with those electromatic brands, and they were not pinning the bridges then. So it's nice to know that they are, because that's a hassle. And that was this orange one again, floating, originally floating. I had somebody lock it down. Same with the nut on these old Setzer models. They thought it would be a good idea, and it sounds like a good idea to put graphite nut, but graphite's very soft and nice. Yeah, I haven't looked at some of the new stuff in a minute, but the I was saying that graphite nut was a bad idea, because as you start to play and you start to use the Bigsby and and tuning it and everything else, the string acts like a saw, and it just cuts right through that graphite nut. And then after about, I don't know, it took me about a year or two, and oh, all of a sudden, it was just the string was flat against the fingerboard, and I was stuck. And I was at a gig and I couldn't do anything about it. And I'm like, oh my god, what am I going to do? So I just ended up taking a business card that I had, and I just ripped a little piece, folded it over, and stuck it under the string, and then that got me through the gig. Which, if you play a gig, if you ever need to do that, just do that. Just, now I've since learned, you take, baking soda and super glue, and that can basically refill the nut. You can refile it back down again. But yeah, and after that happened, I was like, okay, put a bone nut in there. And now, of course, they do that. They don't put those graphite nuts in anymore. Midnight Midnight Sapphire Falcon. Oh my god. Yeah. Wow. I can't. Yeah. There's this other guy. I don't know if anybody's familiar with him. His name is Hot Rod Walt, down in Georgia, I believe, and he does. I've I played some shows with his band years ago. Let's take a look, shall we? Um, Falcon. Interesting. Yeah, I'm sure it's here somewhere. Oh, is this just like the different colors you can get? There it is. That's kind of weird. Yeah, reminds me of something. I can't think of what it is. Like a, I don't know. Like it reminds me of like an old train set I used to have or something, or maybe a Jeep Cherokee, a Jeep Grand Cherokee or something. I don't know. Yeah, yeah. You can go down a rabbit hole real quick with this stuff. But anyway, oh, I was saying, this guy, Hot Rod Walt, he does custom paint jobs for Gretsch, and I believe he is endorsed by Gretsch. He has a psychobilly band down in Georgia, and he does beautiful work. I wish I had a picture of it. I wish I could show you, but he's done some sparkle, like um, red sparkle, champagne sparkle, falcons, and mute that for a second. And yeah, some beautiful work. So if you're ever in the market to get a Gretsch custom made, I always thought maybe I could grab like an old shell of one somewhere. If somebody was throwing it out or whatever, and have somebody like custom build one, but yeah, still very expensive. The Sears, yeah, Sears catalog. Yeah, I know. I had an old I think I still have it. Um, back at my old family's place in Florida is a yeah, like a red flake sparkle. Yeah, custom thing. So Gretsch doesn't do it. So it's kind of like I don't know, I don't even know if there's anything remotely close in any brand, any or in any model. But yeah, to give an example of, I guess the Duo Jet. You can buy blank kits. Oh yeah, nice. Some of the Duo Jets like sparkle, um, have like a red sparkle thing, so it's like that but on a Falcon. And nice. Yeah, maybe someday. Maybe someday. Get the channel enough. Maybe I can get my own Gretsch endorsement, right? Because sponsorship from Gretsch, that would be fantastic, right? Um. Anyway, well, this is a lot of fun. Thank you guys. Thank you for hanging out. Um. Yeah, the gold sparkle jet too. Oh, yeah, he did that with a Falcon, I think, I believe as well. But yeah, thank you for hanging out all this time. I think this is a new record as far as the length of streams. So the length of the stream this time. So hopefully we'll you know definitely do it again next week. But and I will be. I got to work on that video, so I gotta. It's definitely not gonna be ready by next week, but it will be ready hopefully by the week after that. So depending on how long it takes me to get that solo transcribed. So and then we'll go from there. Alrighty. Well, I appreciate it. I think I'm gonna take off, and I appreciate you again, and appreciate everybody who has, you know, subscribed and liked the channel and helped along the way and build a nice community together and keep the music alive. Alrighty, signing off. We will see you guys next time. Have a good one and happy Easter, everybody.